Hey guys, welcome back to Fieldnotes. I'm out here on this beautiful sand hill putting in some drift fences for a new indigo snake project that we're starting this year. So on this month's episode, I'm going to kind of introduce the project and talk you through the methods and what we're going to be doing. Hope you guys enjoy this month's episode, and let's get started. So the goal of this project is to see whether or not environmental DNA, or eDNA, is a useful tool in monitoring for indigo snakes. And so what we largely do right now is visual encounter surveys. We just walk habitat and focus around tortoise burrows and look for snakes that way. So we also use burrow scopes and look for shed skins. And another method that's currently being used is the drift fence camera traps. So just like the fences we've set up here, there are populations where biologists put out drift fences with camera traps, and every time indigos pass through those fences, they detect them. So that's another way of monitoring a population. But the eDNA hasn't really been tested in the wild. So we're collaborating with a bunch of different partners, DoD, with Central Florida Zoo and the Indigo Breeding Center, the Rocky Mountain Research Station, and all our other partners and agencies that are working at the indigo snake reintroduction sites. And so what we're doing is we're going to be conducting both the camera trap surveys with the drift fences. We're going to come out here and visually survey, on foot, hike around, look for snakes that way. And then we're also going to be collecting soil samples at random burrows, and also any place where we see snake tracks or catch an indigo snake. And we will collect soil samples at different time intervals after snakes are found. And that way we'll be able to just compare results across all three types of surveys at 4 different sites. And that'll give us some indication whether or not eDNA is a useful tool for indigo monitoring and conservation. All right, so here we have a completed fence. Just got the camera installed and turned on, so we are now ready to go, ready to detect indigo snakes. You see right here, we've got this bucket. It's propped up with rebar. We've got some stakes in here to prevent snakes from sneaking past. Got a label down there on the bottom to help keep us from mixing up photos. We've got 20 cameras out here. We got to keep our photos organized, so that number should show up in every photo the camera takes. And then up in there, you can see the camera is mounted directly down and taking photos of anything that passes underneath. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Every 3 or so weeks I'm going to come out here and change out batteries, switch out cards. And then the task of going through all these thousands of photos that we're going to take, that part begins. But the manual labor is pretty much done, and we can start surveying here pretty soon. So in addition to the drift fences with the camera traps, we're also putting an equal amount of cameras on burrows themselves. So you can see here, got some stakes with a camera set up. It's pointed at the opening of this burrow, and it's on both the motion sensor and time-lapse setting, so we should hopefully be able to detect any indigo snakes that come out of this burrow, as well as many other animals. And going forward, that's going to be really important. So if we get photos off the camera that show indigo snakes, but our soil samples come back negative, we'll know that either something in the environment, just exposure to UV or whatever, is degrading the DNA that's in the soil, or perhaps our sampling techniques, our methods there, just aren't sensitive enough to detect it. So that'll be really good information going forward in testing the eDNA methods.